shouted Daniel. It was a reflex, involuntary, and in that instant he could see the immediate future, the consequence of what was about to happen. He knew it involved huge risk to himself, now, here, and afterwards. They looked round, saw him. One pulled a knife, the blade flashing in a pool of light from the street lamps of the Quai de Query. The wielder of the baseball bat had broad shoulders and muscular arms, tattooed with coiling black snakes. The weapons showed this was not a chance encounter. He remembered the media uproar and police frustration over the riverbank muggers who had been ambushing late-night drunken party-goers recently. They formed a crescent. Young men, barely in their 20s, full of confidence. He knew at that age the fierce, irrational drive of ego and peer pressure, and that they were going to attack him in unison now. He felt the burden of his age, the muscle memory his body had lost, about to be pitted against the imminent violence. One bellowed a war cry, a primitive sound spurring them to action. He felt the rush of adrenaline. He hit the one with the snake arms first, the biggest. His timing was poor, the blow without power or momentum. The knife-wielder stabbed at him, lightning fast. He was too slow pulling back, and the blade raked across his rib-cage. A fist hit his throat, another his cheekbone, hard blows. He shuddered, staggered. He was going to die there tonight. Snake Arms raised the baseball bat, the others moving back to make room for the blow. Daniel stepped forward, desperate, hit him with a fist against the temple, hard and solid. The blow made a sick, hollow sound like a watermelon hitting the ground. Snake Arms collapsed. Another picked up the bat. Daniel spun on the ball of his foot, reaching for the knife-wielder with his right hand. Too slow. The blade sliced his palm, deep. He grabbed again, grasping the man's wrist with his left hand, pulled him closer, violently, smashing his right palm full on the nose, the momentum upward and forward. Knife-man staggered back onto the ground and sat, keening in pain. Daniel felt warmth, blood streaming from his palm and seeping down his side from the rib wound. Two men jumped onto his back. He rushed backwards and violently smashed one into a tree trunk with his full weight behind it. He heard the man's ribs crack, felt his arms loosen around his neck, but the other man hit him from behind, fist against his ear, another blow to his neck. The fifth man, bearded face twisted in hatred and rage, rushed at him with a baseball bat. Daniel turned, trying to use the one on his back as a shield. It didn't work. The bat hit him on the thick flesh of his right shoulder, bounced off and smacked painfully into his ear. Now blood streamed down his neck as well. Something came loose inside him. Rage that stripped away the rust and resistance of years, the restraints and barriers so long and carefully kept in place. He gripped the bat tightly, twisted it out of the man's hands, seeing the eyes of his attacker turn wild and scared at the speed and power of the move. Daniel hit his head with the bat, and the man dropped to the ground. He banged the butt of his bat rearward, hitting the throat of the one on his back. The strangling arm around his neck released. He swiveled, the man shielding himself with a forearm. He swung the bat, breaking radius and ulna. A sharp, high shriek released into the night. Footsteps behind him, and just in time he saw Knife Man, his face blooded, eyes staring, the blade coming up from below. Daniel jumped backwards and struck out. One strong movement. The tip of the bat struck the knife hand, the weapon flew high and dropped into the grass. He stepped forward and jammed the bat into the man's belly, spun around, but there was nobody left with any fight. He had to get away. There would be consequences. Some of the muggers were seriously injured. He walked across to the woman. She was sitting on the ground, gazing at him. He realized she was older than he'd thought. Her face was strange in shape and expression, her unusual features now frozen with fear and fascination. "Come on," he said, offering his right hand to help her up. Then saw blood dripping freely from it. He switched the baseball bat, gave her his left hand. He didn't know she would take it. He was a big black man with blood on his hands, head, and clothes, in the night, in the dark of the park. She took the hand, and he pulled her to her feet. She stood, dazed. "We must get away," he said with urgency. She nodded. He took her arm and led her through the shadows to the lights of the Rue de Seine. He looked back. The men weren't following them. He tossed the baseball bat high and hard, deep into the middle of the broad river.